This is your offstage voice. The strange object looming up at us is a wooden mask of a half-man from the Innoko River region of Hologochokit, Alaska. Such masks were used in ceremonies in which two men, each wearing a half-man mask, danced. This piece is relatively modern. It was collected in 1935 and not thought to be much older than that.
Now, here's a strange-looking thing. To me, it looks like an abstraction. Carl, will you start out with this?
Well, it's an abstraction, and there's only half there.
Well, that's significant, Carl. The fact that it is only half there, or it looks that way.
Well, that's the way we all feel today, I'm afraid. But
I know what it is.
well, it's a piece of cedar wood, isn't it? Made in the form of a mask, and it's painted white and it's got a little blue around the eyes.
White and blue must be a ghost. It has a death.
It is Eskimo.
You feel that?
I feel that.
Is this, you know this, or is this
No,
an
I never
intuition?
saw such a thing, but...
Does it make your hands cold just handling it?
I don't know, it looks like Eskimo. Maybe I'm wrong.
What is it?
It's half of a mask. Maybe...
Why the projection? The headdress, something above that?
Oh, I don't know, Kai. That's just tacked on with a couple of old nails.
No, but it must be...
It's part of it, though.
It must be
Same
part
weathering.
of it. It's part of it.
You think it's broken?
Well, now, wait a minute. There's a piece of a thong that's coming through here. It might look as if it was tied on the other half someplace.
Yes, yes, maybe. Maybe it's a game also. Maybe it's a game. You have to take half away, and then if you guess something, or you have the other part.
Pin the cheek on the Eskimo, you mean?
It must be for me. It looks like Eskimo.
You agree, Kai?
I don't really know.
How about
I don't
Carl?
know either, but it seems to me.
I know this.
I never saw.
Judging by the material and the technique, it has to be either Northwest Coast or Eskimo. And it doesn't look like Northwest Coast, so therefore it's Eskimo, period.
Well, the hollow for the nose comes to the side of the nose, so this must be a single mask for a single person. But then who uses the other half?
Well, what did he do with his eye, then?
Looks half-proof.
And in other words, it's an awful narrow hollow for his awful snub nose. It certainly wasn't made
That
for
doesn't look like a snub nose to me,
nose.
Carl. It's about a foot long.
It must be Eskimo.
Inside, the place where the nose fits is the snub nose.
I mean, if there were two parts together for a single person, then the hole would be here.
Yes,
but
maybe.
the hole is over more,
That's
so
very,
it's used by
very,
one
yes.
person, and the other happens to be used by another person.
Well, there must be some legendary character that's got a half a face, probably.
And two people acting in
Something,
that, yes.
something has to do with the moon, maybe half a moon or something like that.
Well, now you're getting very hot.
Pardon
I'll tell
me?
you, you're right. You're right as usual, Jacques. It is from the Eskimo. Can you pin it down anymore, Carl?
It's Alaskan Eskimo.
Alaskan Eskimo, right.
Kuskokwim River Eskimo.
Kuskokwim. Well, that's certainly pinning it down. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. As usual, Jacques has felt this. Thanks a lot, Jacques. It is. It's an Eskimo mask. It is from Alaska.
I'm surprised myself.
So are we. It is from the Alaska Eskimo. It comes from the Innoko River region. That's a tributary to the Yukon. Not the Kuskokwim Kai. It's just a little bit to the north in the lower Yukon region. Let's locate this one on the map now. The lower Yukon Valley, the Innoko River. It's an area, as a matter of fact, in which you get the Eskimos and the Athabascans joining, and the Athabascans have borrowed much from the Eskimo. I'm not exactly sure whether this is Eskimo or Athabascans, as a matter of fact, because they both use the same mask ceremony. There's one interesting point about this, which our experts brought out. It is a complete object. It's a half man, and it represents a half man. They're a figure seen in a dream. He's a very good hunter. He has one arm, 1 foot, and so he has to shoot his bow with his foot. Well, I think we're now ready to move on to our next puzzler for the experts. You mean it's chewed off?
Really? Yeah, he's been chewing his nails.
For someone with his hands crossed in his lap, who would that be? Zeus always had
It's
his
a
arms
colossus. It's
under
a
his chin.
colossal statue of Hellenistic period.
Where's it from? Do you want to pinpoint that anymore?
From Greece, probably.
Couldn't it be from Egypt or from Asia Minor?
This fine snowy marble, where did that come from? Is it confined to a special area?
That's the Greek marble.
It's from Greece itself, this marble.
It's a Greek marble.
Is it a Hymettus marble?
Pardon me?
Is it Mount Hymettus marble, you think?
I do not understand.
It's Greek marble, you
Greek. I think it's a Greek marble. It's
In weather here and there. I think.
Can you pick the sculptor?
Oh, no, certainly not.
I would think it was wrote down.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Maybe Jacques made it himself. No.
Well, you'll all agree it's Hellenistic.
I think it's Hellenistic.
It's a colossus, colossal figure
it's
of
a
some
hand
sort.
of a colossus. It's
Greek
only a
made.
part of a hand of a colossus.
You think it's from Greece itself? Huh?
I think it's
made in
maybe
Greece.
made in Rome. It's possible, too.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. As usual, Jacques is awfully hot again this time. It is Hellenistic, all right, but it's found at Vaison in Northern Palestine, the Hellenistic period, which doesn't mean it wasn't made in Greece. As a matter of fact, this was under a Greek influence, a Greek control at that time. Let's locate this one on the map. In Palestine, the famous site of Vaison, which was excavated by the University Museum some years ago, a city which was under Greek influence after the time of the conquest of Alexander, when Greek influence extended all the way from India to practically to Spain. Well, now I think we're ready to move along to our next puzzler for the experts. Well, now I think we're ready to move along to our next museum mystery, which I hope the experts will recover on after that last one which threw them so badly. With good reason, I think.
This odd-looking piece is made of reindeer antler and the ivory of a mammoth. It's part of an object called a reindeer headstall and was made by the Dolgon people of the lower Yenisei Valley in far-off Siberia. It's placed in time at the middle of the 19th century.
Well, now here's something that's going to be very difficult, too. I think it's your turn again, Carl, to try this one.
Well, that's what you're glad to know, Jack. And here we have bone. Kai, I don't think this is any walrus ivory. It's just plain bone, isn't it? And the bone is big enough to be an ox. It doesn't have to be, it might be a bison. It's bison or it's both. Pretty definitely, I can tell by the feel of it.
I think it must be your
This
field.
is really a tough one. That design looks Berber to me.
It looks like Russian folk art to me.
Oh, no.
Such as you find in Siberia occasionally.
Again, we've got one that makes you really think, haven't we?
Kai, I
What
think
about
you're
that
right when you
decoration?
say Siberia.
I suspect both the material. Look at the material.
Did you say Siberia,
It looks
Carl?
like,
Yes.
it looks like some of that Syrian stuff that you find among the Uzbeks and Kyrgyz.
The Ostiaks and some of those people paint this sort of thing on chests, and they do it in applique
right.
on their clothing.
I think you're right, Kai.
I think it comes somewhere from Sumatra or from this kind.
They don't have animals that big to have.
Oh, yes, they're water buffalo. That could come off
That's
a
right,
water
yeah.
buffalo.
You think it's good?
Yeah.
Well, what did you say? You
think
said you both agree on Siberia, don't you?
Kai and I
and
go
you.
for Siberia.
No.
Jack's going down into the Indonesia.
Sumatra.
Yes, I'm going to Indonesia.
Well,
What do you think it's for, Carl?
well, I think it's part of a costume. I think it's sewed onto somebody's clothing as part of armor or part of a shaman's outfit. And I think Kai is absolutely right when he thinks it's probably Ostiak, or I should say it may come from the, wait a minute.
Yakut.
No, not the Yakut, the Yenisei Ostiak. That pinpointed at Yenisei Ostiak.
Carl, this is phenomenal. It really is. I think you better let it rest there. And I think, thanks a lot, gentlemen. This time, Jacques, the scientists have you. They really are right. It is from Siberia, and you did pinpoint it. It's from the lower Yenisei, and a very rare thing to spot a thing like this. Let's locate it on the map first and let you see where it actually comes from. It's the mouth of the Yenisei River in northern Siberia, made by the Dolgon people. They're sort of mixed breed people now living on the lower Yenisei River. Been there, very primitive people. These are the reindeer herders. And actually, Carl, it's a reindeer headpiece made by the Dolgon peoples. And now, while our experts take a breather, we have an announcement which will be of interest to all of us.
We confront our experts this time with a strange wooden object from New Caledonia in far off Australia. It's a taboo sign consisting of paired heads and is dated at the late 19th century.
Now here's a strange-looking figure. Again, some sort of sculptural carving, which is right down your alley, I hope. Jacques, what do you make of that?
Well, I would say that's New Caledonia.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's New Caledonia. An unusual piece, because I never saw such a thing.
Why do you
very
say New
common.
Caledonia then?
But not with two heads.
Yes.
I never saw it.
I have. They're used on the roof of a conical house, and then above this is another material thing. But this is very characteristic.
Oh,
And-
boy, really?
And this same face is put on two wooden planks on either side of the door.
What is
Very
it,
good.
Guy?
Well,
What do you say?
What is it? What is it used for? Is
it must be a
house
pole,
video.
a
pole on the top of the
pole
house.
at the top of a house.
And it gives magic and virtue to the house. Without it, the house is useless. It's part of the axis of the house. It goes,
Very
pole goes
good.
down through it, and it's the spirit of the ancestors that preside over the house. And after the member of the house dies, and the house is usually destroyed, it's only a virtue while the owner is still alive.
Jacques, I'm still interested in why you said that was New Caledonia. How could you
The
tell?
nose is a giveaway.
How did you know that was New Caledonia? What made you spot that so quickly?
Well, I saw some pieces of New Caledonia in a museum in Paris, and we have quite a lot over there.
Is it very characteristic?
No, I wouldn't say
This
so.
nose is absolutely
Yes,
characteristic.
the face.
Anywhere.
The face of the person is characteristic.
The diamond-shaped eyes, the hook nose.
but such
nostrils.
a shape, I don't remember two of them.
It's very common.
it's
always,
common.
They always
Oh.
have.
It's
James
funny.
had it.
It's a funny thing, you know. That physical type that represents is much commoner in New Guinea than New Caledonia.
Oh, it doesn't
Uh,
look. It doesn't look like New Guinea. It has something. Yes, you're
New
right.
Caledonia-
But I don't know. Well,
It's that- it's that feeling again, isn't it?
New Caledonians are short, very broad, hairy men. They look like Australian Aborigines.
Well,
They don't look like Melanesians at all.
But it's a.
No.
The people nowadays don't have that.
Well, thank you very much.
Ancestors do.
I thought we'd throw you on this one, but Jacques just spotted right off again. It's certainly right. It is New Caledonia. That's the island off Australia. Let's locate this on the map. That quite large island right off Australia, which is occupied by a mixed Melanesian crowd of people, part Papua and part Polynesian, supposedly. And there are about 50,000 of them. But I didn't think that experts could possibly recognize that because New Caledonia stuff is not very common. Well, I think we're ready now to turn to our next puzzler.
We are taken back into antiquity by this terracotta head of a goddess found at Ur in southern Iraq. It's thought to be of the Neo-Babylonian period, which would place it at the 6th century B.C.
Now, here's a nice little sculptured figure, a head. I think it's your turn, Kai. What's that?
It's from Mesopotamia. A goddess, probably Astarte, has three horns which meet at the top.
I don't think it's from Mesopotamia. I think it's from Syria or Palestine.
yes, I think it's
The
Syria.
three-horn type is.
It's Syria with influence of Cretan art.
Yeah.
Yes, Cretan art, but it must come from Syria.
The three-horn is characteristic of
It's-
the old
it-
Assyrian
yes,
religion.
but
It
it
may
is-
be, but not that archaic
Yeah.
smile and the general
It lo-
cheekiness
it-
and things.
It's influenced by Cretan art. But in Syria, you never know. It's certainly a
crossroads of the
Syrian.
world.
It's certainly a Syrian piece. Or maybe, let me see, some
It might be Phoenician.
some
But it
good
comes
air.
from North Africa, from Carthage or some
No,
other.
oh, certainly not.
Does it
Certainly
come
not.
from a Phoenician settlement in Spain?
No, it comes from Syria.
Okay.
It comes from Syria.
Well, now, what about the date, Jacques? Maybe that'll help you resolve this argument.
1100 BC.
Oh,
No.
more than that. 2005.
2,500 BC?
I'd give it around 11 to 1400.
BC.
Yep.
What do you say, Kai?
Oh,
You,
maybe-
I think it can be anywhere from Mesopotamia to Syria. But
you say Mesopotamia, they say Syria.
there's a
What
Mesopotamian
about the
influence
date?
in that, but of course it's spread
Well,
to
sure
Syria.
there is, but,
Yeah.
but that isn't where it's from.
I don't know the date.
It's a beautiful object. I love it.
You can't have it.
All right. All right, gentlemen. Well, you're all very hot on this one, but actually, Kai is right. It does come from Mesopotamia. It comes from Ur, from southern Iraq, and it comes from the 6th century B.C., or the Neo-Babylonian period.
Syrian influence.
Syrian influence. I was about to say that,
Well,
Carl.
we
It's coming
were,
you up.
after all, we were not so far away.
We're locating it on the map in southern Iraq. The Neo-Babylonian period, about 600 B.C., but as they pointed out, with the Syrian influence, which makes it look like Syria as well as southern Iraq. And it's surprising to come from Ur. I think now we're ready for our next museum mystery.
Our object this time is a representation of a head made of volcanic stone. It's from Mexico and was part of a statue, probably that of an Aztec god. We can place it in time in about the 15th century A.D.
Here's a rather primitive-looking head carved in stone. I think it's your turn, Carl, isn't it, or is it Jacques?
It's my turn. They look to me like my old friend Quetzalcoatl, a bearded god. Do you think this is New World?
The X on the forehead on the crown looks New World.
The X marks the spot. Well,
yes.
The cross was a symbol of this Viracocha Quetzalcoatl god.
Yes.
What do you think, Jacques?
Well. It looks a little bit like Mexican, but it...
No, it's not Mexican.
It's maybe North American. It's maybe from the Columbus River over there.
You mean it's Hopewell or something like that?
The Columbia River didn't have the didn't have
Columbus,
the
Ohio.
X symbol.
I think it comes from San Augustine in Ecuador.
You shifting your ground?
I think it's from Ecuador. I'm not shifting it. I said in the first place that it was either Quetzalcoatl or Viracocha.
Oh.
I think it's from...
I thought you were locating at Mexico.
No, I think it's from San Augustine in
Mexican influence.
no, it's southern Colombia on the border of Ecuador.
Mm.
Let's
Well.
see. We could find out what it is.
It's running about the stone. It's a volcanic.
It's a volcanic stone, yes. It's a volcanic stone.
Does that help you any?
Oh, well,
Might be Andean, but it could be Mexican too.
It could be Indian. It could be Indian.
It didn't come from the state of Maine, that's for sure.
No. Or Oregon over there, you know. Or
Well,
like
if
you
it were
say,
Indian, it would have to be around Tennessee. That's where the
no such things. You know, they had lately a marvelous exhibition in Portland, Oregon. An exhibition of all these objects. I saw the catalog. Very interesting. It's maybe still over there.
Well, I'm afraid our time is up, gentlemen. Carl, I thought you had this one at first when you said Quetzalcoatl, because actually it does come from Mexico, which is we usually associate Quetzalcoatl with that area, or East Middle America. Mexican, probably an Aztec god, and from the 15th century.
It's the same god no matter where you find it.
That's true, but it's a Mexican sculpture. We'll locate this one on the map now in the Valley of Mexico, central Mexico, 15th century A.D.